All right, Arvind Sidhu, Leeds fan. Are you excited to meet him, Carlton?
Yes, absolutely.
This guy can really talk, though. I've met him before, so he's going to drill you with a ton of questions, that's for sure, in the best way possible.
So what brought you to Leeds United then?
How did I become a fan?
Yeah.
So when I was very young, father and son moment, I think I was about 6 or 7, and I was looking at the Premier League table in our star paper, and I didn't understand what the P, the W, the D, and what they stood for.
Oh, yeah?
So then I just asked my dad, can you explain what it is to me? So then he told me this is played, won, drawn, lost, and everything. Then I said, okay, fine. Then he said, I think it's time for you to pick a team. So I never wanted someone right on top. I never wanted someone right at the bottom. And Leeds was somewhere, I think, about 8th or 9th.
Right.
Liked the name, picked it,
Right.
and stuck by it since then.
So you picked them without ever watching an entire 19 minutes?
No, I never did.
Wow.
Then after that, I realized that when I watched the 1995 FA Cup final, Everton and Man United, and Paul Rideout scored and Everton beat Man U. And I had a distaste for Man U already at that time. So I thought, okay, fine, the Leeds, the War of the Roses, it all fits into it, so yeah.
Yeah, derbies, massive derbies, those.
Yeah. Even the rivalry in Perth at the pre-season game was mad.
Yeah.
There were fights, there was so much of banter, and this was just a pre-season game.
It's horrible. I have to say this. It is if you are an away team
Yes.
coming to Ellen Road,
Yes.
it is a horrible place to come.
Yeah.
We used to train. We used to call it the fast start. So Howard used to say, if you get at a team within the first 10, 15 minutes, we used to aim to get a goal within the first 10 or 15 minutes. If we did that, the fans used to go it was a nightmare for away fans, because we used to train up on the top. So we used to go up there, put our shin pads on, and run straight down and straight onto the pitch. And then we used to call it the fast start. And when they go, and if you go back there to play against Leeds United, honestly, it's horrendous.
Did you play against Man United at Ellen Road in your time there?
Yeah.
What was that like?
You would have.
Yeah, unbelievable. We always had a good record against Man United, but both home and away. Every club I've played at, I've always had a good record against Man United.
When you were playing Cantona, had already left. He had already gone to United at that time, wasn't he? No?
Yeah, no, Cantona was playing came back to Ellen Road.
Yep.
And I played against him when he was playing and we beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we beat him.
That was good.
How do you remember your time at Leeds?
It was a strange one, really. I never planned to go to Leeds United. I'd actually agreed to go to. Well, I'd signed a new 5-year contract at Sheffield Wednesday, and I was away on holiday in the summer, and I'd had a few issues with Trevor Francis, and then I get a phone call from Dave Richards, the chairman at Sheffield Wednesday, saying that we've agreed a fee with Aston Villa and a fee with Leeds United. Choose where you want to go. So I met with Ron Atkinson, and I'd agreed a deal with Ron Atkinson to go to Aston Villa, and he went off to the World Cup. And as it so happens, Howard Wilkinson was my next door neighbour. So he came round to see me and said, we've offered the second highest transfer fee in the country after Alan Shearer. I think Alan Shearer went for 3.2, I went for 2.9. And he said, would you want to come and speak to us? And I said, well, to be fair, I've agreed a deal in principle with Aston Villa. And my agent at the time said, listen, the fee's bigger and you should, out of courtesy, go and speak to him. So I went along to Ellen Road, and I've never signed for a club, I always signed for a manager. So I'd worked for Ron for 2 clubs now. I was at West Brom, at Sheffield Wednesday with him, and I've been with him a long time. And Howard Wilkinson, I liked the bloke, I liked what he was saying. He was saying to me at the time that, the likes of Scholesy and that were coming through. He said it was time for me to drop back and play at centre-back, and he felt that if I did that, I would retain my place in the England team. So it just all made sense, Ron Atkinson wasn't best pleased, as you can imagine, that's a lesson learned for managers. You can't, if you've got a player and you want to sign them, you've got to do the deal there and then.
Yeah.
You can't let them
go off and speak to us.
Yeah, because if everybody thought it was about, but it wasn't. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Leeds United pay me an awful lot more money, but at the time there was a lot of factors. Howard Wilkinson was my next door neighbour. I'd have had to move. My kids were in school, so there was a lot of things that made sense.
So you kept the same house? You kept the same house when you went to Leeds?
Yeah, because it was 40 minutes for me from my house to the ground, and it's only when the training ground moved to Thorpe Arch that caused me a problem, because then it was an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a great time at Leeds. I mean, Speedo, obviously, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
McAllister.
Batty.
Yeah, Batty. Yeah. Mel Sterling, of course, who's from Sheffield. Yeah. Tony DiRigo, who's still a good mate of mine. So some great times, and I was gutted for Howard, really, because we had a decent side, and I think had Howard been left alone, I think he would have gone on to do good things, but wasn't to be.
Did it ever cross your mind, Carlton, in that League Cup final, though, that you almost joined Villa, and you could have gone on to win it with them?
I always believe in karma, and it's the first thing I said after the game. That's for not honouring my word. But it's difficult, isn't it? Sometimes, we were miles better side than Aston Villa. We just didn't turn up on the day. But I do believe in karma in life, and I think that was, my penance for doing what I did. But, situations come along, and I don't regret it. I've just been back, and I was just back at Howard's. He still lives in the same house now. I've just been back to see him. He's had a few cancer issues and whatever. And I didn't realise that he'd been out in China managing SIBG. He'd actually been there for 2 years. But I've never regretted that, because he taught me a lot of different things, not just about football, but as a man. He helped me out an awful lot. So I'll never regret that. And then the players I played with there, Gordon Strachan, McAllister, Speedo, just top class players,
Bielsa has transformed the whole club.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he's transformed
the whole. The problem is, and I think Stan said it last year, that to play with the intensity that they play,
it's tough.
To keep that going, especially in the championship, it's hard, and that's what happens at the end.
Yeah.
They basically just run out of steam at the end.
Exactly.
So they've got to get that balance right.
Yeah.
But I think that shows the size of Leeds as well, to attract a manager like Bielsa.
Yeah.
He's absolutely huge in world football, It
was a one-year negotiation with him.
Oh, really?
1 year negotiation. He watched every game of the season before he came, and he looked at every player, and then at the end of it, they sealed the deal with him. There was a 1 year negotiation to get him over. And even after the first year, there was an agreement that he will talk to the owner. If he doesn't feel it's right, gentleman's agreement, I can walk away. And thankfully, he spoke, and I think he got what he needed, and now he's continued in the second year. He's not someone that stays for long. He comes in, fixes things, and then he goes on. So we need him back. We need him to bring in the Premier League. That'll be really good.
Yeah,
him against Pep, him against Pochettino. That'll be really good.
He inspired Pep, though, wasn't he? He was like
his philosophy is all adopted by Pep and Pochettino and everyone. So in that sense, bringing him to the Premier League, we need to get rid of the likes of Burnley and all.
So do you see similarities between, I think you went to Southampton, was it?
Yeah.
When you were in that relegation battle?
Well, no, I wasn't. What happened with me at Leeds United was, it's a weird story. Can you believe this? And this is how things work out. My contract was up before I went to Leeds United, when I'd signed a new 5-year contract at Sheffield Wednesday, and then this all came about in the summer. But before I went there, we played Arsenal in the cup final. We played them in the 2 cup finals. As I'm walking out, I always come out last. George Graham pulled me and said, "You're coming to Arsenal next season." And I said to George Graham, "No, I'm not." I said, "I'll tell you now, I turned down all the London clubs. I was schoolboy at Chelsea as a kid. London's not for me. Great to go in for a weekend, but not for me to play." So I turned down Spurs. I didn't want to go to any of the London clubs, so I told him no. Then Howard Wilkinson gets the sack. Who comes in? George Graham. I've still got 4 years left on my contract. First day he comes in, he says he wants to see me. He says to me, like, you know, you're not in my plans. And I said, fine, no problem. So I know my agent come on to me and said that Joe Royle wanted me at Everton. Harry Redknapp wanted me at West Ham. And he turned around to me and said, he said, you're a good player. This is his actual words to me. You're a good player. You're not going to embarrass me. He said, you're not going to anywhere in the Premier League. So I thought, well, the money that I was earning, that there's no way he's not going to play me. So I just get my head down, work hard, train hard, and he's going to play me. Because if anybody's a George Graham type of player, it was me.
Yeah.
But no, he was adamant. So about 7 games in, I went to see him. I'm not the type of person to pick up money and not play football. I want to play football. So I just said to him, I said, listen, I need to go. And he said, well, funny enough, he said, I've just had Dave Jones on the phone from Southampton. I said, I'm not going to Southampton. I said, there's 7 points adrift at the bottom of the table.
Okay.
So I said, why would I want to go there when I've got clubs in the top half of the table? He said, Carlton, I'll tell you now, you either go to Southampton or you go and play in the Championship. That was it. And he was deadly serious, and he turned around to me and said to me, speak to Paul Davis at Arsenal, speak to all these other players, this is what I've done. Because he's got this mentality, which has gone in football now, that, you know, if you knock the big player down, everybody else falls into line, which is crazy, right?
Yeah, when nowadays footballers
So
can't do that.
what happened was I actually, Dave Jones flew up, met me at Manchester airport and said like he wanted to sign me and whatever, and I was like, oh, you know, Southampton's a million miles away, isn't it? And whatever. But he was a really nice guy, and I just said to him, I said, listen, I said, tell me what you're thinking. So he told me the players that he was looking to bring in, Kevin Richardson, Troll Solvert and whatever. And I thought, all right, we'll have enough to stay up, more than enough to stay up. So I flew down, funny enough, on a similar plane to the boy at Cardiff that got killed. And it was it strikes the similarities because the weather was terrible. I wanted to fly straight back. We couldn't agree a deal. We were a million miles apart, and I wanted to fly straight back. The weather was terrible, and my agent said to me, Carlton, it's not worth flying in this bad weather. We'll stay overnight. And so we stayed overnight. We didn't fly back, and we flew back the next morning, but in the same similar plane to what he went down in. So then Rupert Lowe rang me up the next day, the chairman, and he said, right, what we can do, he said, we can't obviously pay you the amount of money we're paying at Leeds United, but we'll give you an extra year on your contract, we'll do this and we do that. And then another Saturday had gone by where I hadn't played football, and I just had to go. I just had to go because I needed to play football. And can you believe what he did? The first game was against Leeds United, and he put in a clause that I couldn't play against them.
No.
Oh, TTDI.
There you go. All right, we're here.
Today, we want you to try the goreng pisang, which is the fried bananas.
Okay. Hello, ladies.
Hi. Yang mana sedap? Yang
mana biasa abu lah.
ni, pisang abu.
So what's this now?
It's just fried bananas, basically. So that's fried bananas with some flour. So it's like banana balls. But this is pretty much authentic with just a bit of batter. Fried banana. Go for it. Oh, it's hot though.
Normally you take it with sauce,
It's all
don't you?
right.
No, it's lovely.
Yeah. Dia kata sedap.
Not every
A
day.
little treat once in a while.
Once
Be
in
in
a
the gym
while.
after, mate. So,
Come
Another
to the gym. All right, thank you.
A little bit of Malaysia.
yeah.
All right.
Cameraman, you want this?
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Zaijian.
See you later.
They're Chinese for you.
What did you think? 谢谢。
Zaijian.
谢谢。